But thank you very much for joining us. I'm really excited to have you, really privileged to have you. So if you could just tell us a little bit of background about you, any potential hobbies, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. My background, of course, left Somalia back in 1991, then lived in Cairo, Egypt for 8 years, got my high school from there, then moved to Tucson, Arizona 26 years ago in 1998. Like many immigrants, I didn't speak the language very well. I didn't know how the education system worked, and I had to figure things out with a little bit of help from a couple of Somali gentlemen that were going to University of Arizona at that time. My education started studying at Optical Science and Engineering at University of Arizona. But after graduation, I went into a family business for a few years. Then I ended up coming back to school doing my master's in information technology, which kind of allowed me to get back into the industry and tech world. And a few years later, I completed I'd say about 6 year into my industry work. I went back, did my MBA from the University of Illinois. So now I work as a product strategy, corporate strategy in a research and development organization at a large aerospace and defense company. And on the side, I teach data and machine learning analytics at a platform called udacity.com. Mainly my students are students that who are don't have a traditional 4 years college degree, but they want to break into tech as a data analytics. And so there's a lot of that goes in there. I learn a lot from those students. And I also write a newsletter that kind of focus on expanding that learning to more audience. I write that newsletter. I started about a few months ago, mainly focused on teaching individuals who are interested in the technical skills they need to become a data analyst, and also the soft skills they need to be able to break into or get roles. So as you
Perfect.
see, my path to where I'm at right now is not very straightforward. It's been a
Yep.
lot of detours, but every step has actually was a learning process for me to be where I'm at right now.
No, absolutely. And you just touched base on that. Like it wasn't necessarily a straightforward journey or experience, but touching back on those experiences, what are some key decisions or anything along that journey that shaped your career path the most to where you are today?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I would say honestly, a lot of the progress you see came from being in very uncomfortable situations, right, or positions. And all of us will go through there. There are times where you don't want to get out of that comfort zone. So one was switching fields multiple times, yes, from engineering to data science to product strategy. So I didn't always have clear path, but I stayed open to learning and also changing and adapting. So that's very important, especially because you notice a lot of things has been changing in not only the tech world. Tech is touching every space, every domain, right?
So
Another was building things outside of work. So I didn't just confine myself to my 9 to 5 or corporate job. Small tools, I always like playing, building. If I have an idea come up, I try to validate it. That allows me to talk to real people, see if they're actually willing to buy that kind of products, if you're able willing or like. Build side projects, like the teaching that I do, that's something that I do on the side. So those are all helped me to learn and gain confidence. So teaching others also, especially online, allow me to learn twice.
sure.
It gave me that skills, also communication skills, ability to help critically try to see if I can solve problems. Not
Right.
only technology problems, also people problems. So those are really a lot of the key decisions that helped me. The main goal is you don't need to be the smartest, but you need to keep showing up all the time and
Right.
also stay useful to your society, to your community.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because just piggyback off of that, I wanted to ask you for just in terms of someone that's either new or not experienced, and especially in the field of either tech, what advice would you give them to get started and take that initial first step, knowing that maybe the journey won't be linear or straightforward?
I want to say, okay, first, understand that failure is part of the progress, right? So don't be afraid of failing. And also, a lot of people that I met, sometimes I have individuals from Somalians reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Sure.
And so a lot of them notice they fall into two different camps. The camp that always followed the traditional path. Go to school, get your degree, and then look for a job. And other campus, oh yeah, AI is taking over everything. There's no jobs. I've been interviewing, so I'm going to stop there. The reality is that you need to understand how technology or automation also affects your industry, correct? And it's not only about going to school, it's also about showing up and not only tell what you know, actually show what are you capable of doing by building portfolios, get into different projects on the side. As you learning, share your learnings on social media, like the professional side, like LinkedIn. And at the meantime, yeah, try to teach others too, because that helps you to learn that specific topic even better.
So
Yeah, build portfolio, networking, that's very important. And also that allows you to get to know so many people in the industry that could be helping you in your next job.
thank you for that. And just going back off to, as you said, failure is a part of the journey. I think that's a very important note to make and a very important like lesson to keep in mind. Just based off of your journey, what would you say was the most challenging part of it, and how did you overcome that?
I would say that's a good question. Yeah. So I would say one of the hardest part for me was after I graduated from college, went into family business, kind of rebuilding myself after stepping away from engineering. And so when I returned to tech or either to the industry, things has changed a lot. And from, I want to say from 2007 to 2014, almost 6, 7 years, new tools, new platforms, new expectations, and I felt behind at that time. But there was times where I doubted myself and I felt like too non-traditional and too late, too different, you're too old. Yeah, I didn't always see people who looked like me in the room. Actually, a lot of rooms that I entered,
So,
but I focused on what I could control at that time. Whatever I could control, I learned fast, stayed curious, and I stayed consistent also. So I asked a lot of questions, build skills, I connected with so many people who were kind and so supportive. So I accepted that I have to work harder sometimes, but I was okay too with that. That's part of the game. So the pressure that pushed me is that kind of helped me to grow.
it's amazing. And again, you touched based on this as well. I think part for you at least, not necessarily keeping up with the trends, but knowing what was available already at the time and being curious to that and learning more from that, I think was important. So my next question would be, what trends or skills do you think will be the most important in the next 5 to 10 years? I think you mentioned a little bit about AI and machine learning. I suspect that would be one of them.
Yeah, that's really, and I know that's an easy question, correct? Yeah. I would say one word is AI. And I want people to understand when I say AI, it does not mean you need to be in engineering coding. AI is a big one, correct? It's changing how industry works from healthcare to education to finance. So you don't need to become an expert or an engineering or computer coder, but you must understand how AI works. Number one, how the pieces get together and how to use it. It could be as simple as how to use ChatGPT, how to do a prompt engineering, how things work together. If you can use AI to speed up your work, then and make better decisions and ask better questions, you are actually already ahead. Um, But also learning to write and speak, I would say clearly is very important because you might have all the knowledge in your head, but if you cannot communicate it in a more articulate way,
Oh,
then you're losing out. But, uh,
absolutely.
think for
Absolutely.
yourself, and I want to say work well with others, and uh, to combine all that together, I want to say the world is shifting from being specialist to more like a generalist. Right? Be open to learn new tools that bring automation, that brings speed up work because there's a code that always been here, but AI is not going to take your job. Someone who knows how to
Yeah,
use
right.
AI is going to take your job. That's what you need to keep in your head. Yeah. Next
Yeah,
5 years.
definitely. Inshallah. And I think again for you, like just to base a theme for you would just be continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to be curious. Was a couple statements that you've made so far. For someone that's coming in, and just for you personally as well, like how do you continue to do that? Just not even professionally, but just personally as well?
I certainly the simple habit that I built, and I'll tell everybody, just keep learning and test what you learn and share it. So I like reading and not non-fictional books. Intentionally, I like so books is in general, you might not learn a lot of stuff out of it, but you if you skills you pick out of it, if you put it into an actions, that's huge. Even now on my 15 years into my career, I still take courses. I get my hands wet by building small, like minimum viable products where I talk to people and say, hey, if this product were live, would you go?
Sure.
It's not necessarily, you never know. One of them might turn into an actual business, but I
Absolutely.
like testing that. So that really helps me. And I talk to real people. I teach this data analytics that helps me. So far I have in the last 5 years, so I think I did about 10 cohorts, and those 10 cohorts I interacted with over 600 students. So that was a lot of learning for me too. That, not because they're learning from me, I'm always learning from everybody's background
Yeah.
experiences. So I also listen, try to listen more than I talk. So that's very important. And they and also just yeah, listen more than you talk, because if you're in the room, let's say you're trying to negotiate something, less you talk and more the other person talks,
Yeah.
more information you have that helps you to negotiate. So
Yes,
always, yeah, just
personally.
listen and only start talking when you have enough information. Uh,
Definitely.
I- but don't just open your mouth in there. So yeah, those are, I would say, yeah. So learn, test, and share.
Got it. Perfect. We want to thank you so much for your time, Ismail. Genuinely, thank you for taking the time out of obviously your busy schedule. And we hope to obviously keep learning, keep listening, and keep connecting with you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me, everyone, and I'm glad that you guys doing this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well,